The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the guests appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 8 News Now or Nexstar Media Group.
We're not denying anybody a Second Amendment right to own a gun if, in fact, they have to go through a thorough background check.
Tonight on Politics Now, Joe Biden addresses a mass shooting in El Paso in an exclusive interview with Politics Now.
We're traumatized by all of this. We have to do better.
Asked Senator Kamala Harris about the El Paso shooting and her Medicare for All plan in an exclusive interview. And
if Trump can afford to give $1.1 trillion in tax breaks to the 1% in large corporations, you know what, we can cancel student debt in this country.
We asked Bernie Sanders about his plan to cancel 100% of student debt and how it would work.
From 8 News Now, this is Politics Now with Steve Sebelius and Patrick Walker.
Well, Las Vegas once again the center of the political universe today as 19 of the Democratic candidates took the stage at UNLV today. Thanks for joining us. I'm Patrick Walker.
And I'm Steve Sebelius. The event was put on by the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, or AFSCME, and the Huffington Post. The union has about 1.4 million members nationwide. We also used the opportunity for some one-on-one interviews with the candidates today. Here's part of my interview with frontrunner Joe Biden. We began with the tragic news out of El Paso, where 19 people were killed and 40 more injured in a mass shooting at a shopping mall. This has become a very common thing in America almost every day. It sometimes doesn't even dominate the news cycle. What's your reaction to that?
Reaction is it's actually sickening. It's easy. The idea that we can't once again beat the NRA and block assault weapons. Now, I don't know what weapons he had. I saw a picture as I walked in because I was on stage when this happened, and showing he had a clip that had a whole heck of a lot of bullets in it, limiting the amount of bullets that could be in a clip, making sure we have thorough background checks. I mean, it doesn't violate anybody's Second Amendment right at all, but it's just rational. But not only the NRA, but the gun manufacturers, all they want to do is sell guns. And it makes no sense. We're not denying anybody their Second Amendment right to own a gun if, in fact, they have to go through a thorough background check across the board.
The debates that we've seen, a couple of the recent debates, I had to remind myself this is a Democratic primary because people were attacking Obama more than they attacked him when he ran, it seemed like. Did that surprise you when you're on stage there? That I would expect they would go after you, but they're going after Obama too.
Well, it's the way they think they're going after me, I think. And but I think the president was a great president. I think he's done an incredible job. And I think Democrats who attack him only feed fodder to help this president be able to continue his marauding ways in terms of just avoiding facing reality. And I was disappointed, and I hope we actually have a debate eventually where we can talk about the future. We can talk about competing plans on health care, on climate change, and the rest. They're legitimate arguments for debate, and but I was surprised.
well, you can watch that full interview and all of our full interviews on 8newsnow.com. Now, I was down at the forum today and had a chance for an exclusive one-on-one interview with California Senator Kamala Harris. I also asked her about the El Paso mass shooting and how her Medicare for All plan is different than those from others. Give me some reaction, if you would, about the shooting today in El Paso.
It's tragic, and you know, at some point we have to ask, can our country tolerate any more of this? You know, last week it was in Gilroy, California, El Paso today. This violence has to stop, and we who are leaders have to take action. The American people want it, they deserve it. We need reasonable gun safety laws in this country. I reject the false choice that says you're either in favor of the Second Amendment or you want to take everyone's guns away. That's just a false choice. I support the Second Amendment, and I support the need for universal background checks and a renewal of the assault weapons ban. In fact, when elected, I will tell you, I plan to take executive action if Congress will continue to fail to act. Because here's the bottom line. There are children every day in America, and Nevada knows this more than anyone. Nevada that experienced the worst in history There are children every day who go to school, elementary, middle, high school students, to have to go through a drill during which they learn about how they should crouch in a corner or hide in a closet in the event there's a mass shooter roaming the hallways of their school.
Releasing a detailed plan this week. It falls somewhere in the middle between the Affordable Care Act now and Medicare for All. So just tell me about your decision to get to the middle ground where it's at.
Yeah. So I came up with my own plan for Medicare for All, and frankly, it's because I've been traveling our country and I've been listening to people. And they don't want us to take away their private insurance. And I heard that. I've been listening to our friends who are in labor and have negotiated for health benefits in a way that they've given up an increase in wages, and they don't want to lose what they've negotiated. And I heard that. And so I said, you know what, we're going to come up with our own plan. And it's a plan where, one, everyone is going to have access to health care, and cost is not going to be a barrier. We're going to put everyone in our Medicare for All system. We're going to do a 10-year transition to get into it instead of the 4 years that the other Medicare plan is offering. I'm saying I am not going to tax middle-class families or increase the taxes on middle-class families who are making less than $100,000 a year, as compared to the other plan, which is going to tax families making, those making up to $29,000 a year. And I'm saying, look, we have to also hold the insurance companies responsible, because they keep jacking up premiums and co-pays and deductibles. And even people who have insurance can't afford to receive the health care they want because they know they'll be out of pocket $5,000.
Vermont Senator and 2016 presidential candidate Bernie Sanders was at the forum as well.
During another exclusive one-on-one interview, I asked Sanders about El Paso again and his plan to cancel student debt. Obviously, the shooting in El Paso this morning. Just want to get your thoughts.
You know, these one of these things that is absolutely unspeakable. But the politics of this tragedy is that the Republican Party has got to tell the NRA that they cannot continue to control gun policy in America. The truth is there is overwhelming support in this country from gun owners and non-gun owners alike for common sense gun safety legislation, and that means strengthen and expand the background check process, do away with the gun show loopholes, do away with the so-called straw man provision, ban assault weapons, something that I've supported for 30 years, and move in other directions. But we cannot allow, when so many, I mean, it is unspeakable, and it's hard to even talk about it, to think that people are walking into malls or walking into schools and shooting down innocent people.
You say that it would essentially spur some entrepreneurship, some growth. Just a thought that came to mind, doesn't that sound a little bit like trickle-down economics that Democrats have hated for so long?
It's quite the contrary. It's not trickle-down economics is giving tax breaks to the rich. What this is doing is putting more money into the hands of working families. And I'll tell you, it's not just entrepreneurship that I think you will see expand. Right now, and here's the truth, you got a whole lot of folks who can't afford to get married and have kids. That's true. They have huge student debt. They can't have kids. How crazy is that? They can't buy their own first house. They can't go out and get a car. They are just crushed by this level of student debt. And I think if we can afford to bail out the crooks on Wall Street 11 years ago, if Trump can afford to give $1.1 trillion in tax breaks to the 1% in large corporations, you know what, we can cancel student debt in this country.
Sanders also told us he supports the idea of a national popular vote. Now, a bill to do that was vetoed during the 2019 session by Governor Steve Sisolak.
And we talked a lot more about that, by the way, on health care with both of the last two candidates as well. So you want to see that, plus all of the sit-down interviews with as many candidates as we can that have been coming to town. You can see that on LasVegasNow.com, including Elizabeth Warren, Cory Booker, Marianne Williamson. Just click on the News tab and then look for the 2020 candidates section. So a lot to watch there on 8newsnow.com. Well, the reason, of course, behind this forum.
Our members also are citizens of this country, obviously, and they want to talk about the issues that confront them every single day.
Well, that was from the union president. We'll take a look at what some of the other candidates had to say in their speeches today, next.
And those presidential candidates picked up more Nevada endorsements. We'll tell you about some of them next as Politics Now continues.
If a payday loan isn't quite what you're looking for, try a Rapid Cash Easy Pay installment loan. You can get more cash, a convenient payment plan, and you don't need a bank account. Talk to one of our friendly associates about a Rapid Cash Easy Pay installment loan today.
Love that rapid cash.
Attention campers! This summer's activities include workshops on blind sides.
I never know who's lying to me.
For arts and crafts, we'll be making alliances.
Weird. The Fellowship of the Zing!
And players prepare for some crazy competitions. Ooh, that's gotta hurt. Don't miss a new Big Brother CBS Sunday.
I can get used to this.
Need a summer getaway? Jump into Love Island, where there's always enough love to go around. Weeknights, 8/7 Central.
At times like these, you want more than a great lawyer. You want a whole team of them. Bertoldo, Baker, Carter, and Smith is a personal injury team with a proven track record and national recognition. But more than that, we're committed to treating you with integrity, compassion, and serious respect. Bertoldo, Baker, Carter, and Smith. What you want in personal injury attorneys.
Summer is almost over, so get ready to go back to school with 8 News Now.
From keeping your children safe to saving you money. The kids might not be ready to go back, but you will be.
The 8 News Now Back to School Guide, Monday starting at 4 a.m. This is the house where the faithful believe their team is ready for battle. Watch a supercharged offense face Dallas in the preseason opener. 49ers Cowboys, August 10th on 8 News Now.
If you have a car, you could get cash. With a Rapid Cash Title Loan, you get more cash, up to $10,000 for any maker model. Apply for a Rapid Cash Title Loan today and unlock more cash.
Love that rapid cash.
Welcome back to Politics Now.
We are talking about the AFSCME forum at UNLV today, where 19 of that huge field of Democratic presidential candidates took the stage. For Senator Elizabeth Warren, one of the focuses of her plan was to cancel student debt.
What I'm proposing is student loan debt cancellation, 95% of the kids who've got it, and doing it in a way. America's had an issue for a long time about moving in and widening the black-white wealth gap, the gap between whites and everybody else. I have picked deliberately the numbers that are going to help shrink that wealth gap and maximize opportunity for all of our kids.
So for giving all student debt.
Senator Warren also talked about the differences among candidates' health care plans, characterizing them as Democrat versus Republican instead of Democrat versus Democrat.
And of the younger candidates, Cory Booker took the time to campaign in Las Vegas today. At the forum, he was asked about his promotion of charter schools as mayor of Newark.
As a guy who got endorsed by my state's largest teachers union twice, folks understand that we in this nation are seeing an assault on public education that is outrageous and unacceptable. I flew out of Detroit last night. In Michigan, Republicans have written these charter schools laws in a way that I would oppose dramatically, because they're designed in a way that has no accountability, allow charters not to operate on the same level as district schools, but really are an assault on public education as we know it.
And as we mentioned at the top of the show, while the forum was going on, news of another mass shooting in El Paso broke out. At least 19 people were killed inside of a Walmart. Former Texas Congressman Beto O'Rourke opened up his time right after news broke, by the way, talking about it.
Any illusion that we had that progress is inevitable or the change that we need is going to come of its own accord, shattered in moments like these, and that is upon every single one of us. There is no luxury in this democracy of sitting this one out. Whether it is gun violence, whether it is many of the issues that we discussed today about economic inclusion and the right to organize. And to the people of El Paso, any of you who are here today or who are out there right now, we are thinking about you, and we want to make this better going forward. Thank you all for having us out.
We'll have more coverage on that El Paso shooting right after this show on 8 News Now at 5. Every candidate also answered a question about Nevada's new law allowing collective bargaining for state employees. There wasn't much debate there. All 19 candidates said they would like to see a similar law passed at the federal level.
Well, ahead of the visit, of course, this week, some of the top candidates also announced endorsements from Nevada supporters. So let's take a look at a few of them. The former Vice President Joe Biden has been lining up the high-profile support. They include former Congress members Shelley Berkeley and Jim Bilbray, Nevada state lawmakers Ozzie Fumo, Susie Martinez, and State Senator Ivana Kinsella and Shannon Bilbray Axelrod.
And a couple of other legislators endorsed California Senator Kamala Harris. They include State Senator Joyce Woodhouse and Assemblywoman Sandra Hagerty. They held events for Harris this weekend as well. And Assemblywoman Heidi Swank wrote a lengthy op-ed in the Reno Gazette-Journal supporting Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren. It focuses on Warren's support for public lands funding.
Well, not letting up on Baltimore. How Donald Trump compared the city to Afghanistan during one of his campaign rallies this week. Plus,
many people want to see him at least own his mistakes.
the Face-Off panel takes on the Democrats' second debate and how frontrunner Joe Biden did during that debate. That's coming up on Politics Now.
These insurance companies, with their big army of lawyers, think they hold all the cards. But trust me, they're in for a big surprise when they're in the courtroom with us.
Golightly and Associates, 222-3333.
Cox offers gig speed internet everywhere.
I just downloaded 10 HD movies.
CenturyLink does not.
I can't get one movie to play.
It's clear that Cox is the better choice. Just like it's clear that the sound guy needs to pay attention.
Unlike CenturyLink, Cox has 1 gig internet speeds available everywhere. Get Cox internet starting at $29.99 a month for up to 10 megs.
When I was diagnosed with breast cancer, I went straight to CTCA. After my mastectomy, I felt like part of my identity was being taken away. My team made me feel whole again.
Cancer Treatment Centers of America. Appointments available now.
Tell me something about you. What kind of music do you like?
Check.
What?
You're married.
No, I'm not.
Tell that to the white circle on your ring finger.
Oh, no, no.
I don't date cheaters.
My wife died!
I'm so sorry.
I'm gonna comp the shishito peppers.
Compliments of the people in the corner booth.
This is what I was trying to avoid.
My place is like 5 minutes from here.
Wow, that's really convenient for you. Oh.
The Unicorn, coming to CBS this fall.
Do you think science can answer every question?
I'm a forensic psychologist, but I don't need to check every broomstick to know that broomsticks don't fly. So this is a haunting?
It's an infestation.
What's that?
A haunting.
You know I'm just doing this to pay off my student loans, right?
Evil, coming to CBS this fall.
And welcome back. President Donald Trump held a campaign rally this week in Cincinnati, Ohio on Thursday, and he came out swinging. Trump continued to talk about Baltimore after he previously called the city rat-infested. This time he talked about the city's homicide rate.
The homicide rate in Baltimore is significantly higher than El Salvador, Honduras, Guatemala. I believe it's higher than... Give me a place that you think is pretty bad. Give me a place. The guy says Afghanistan. I believe it's higher than Afghanistan. In our country, think of that.
Well, Trump went on to say if he was wrong about Afghanistan, the headlines would tell him tomorrow. He also criticized Democrats on immigration and border security. Steve?
Thanks, Patrick. Well, that campaign rally came after 2 days of Democratic candidates taking the stage in Detroit for their debate. Our Face-Off panel weighs in on how the frontrunners who are under attack did in the second round of debating. Here's KXNT radio host Alan Stock from the right and Battleborn Progress Deputy Director Maria Teresa Lieberman from the left.
We look at the second night, and we know that after the last debate that occurred a month or two ago, we know that Biden lost a little bit of ground. Kamala Harris gained a little bit of ground. What about this debate, though? I mean, it seemed like everyone was going after both of them, and I want to talk about Biden in a minute also. But I mean, do you think that either one of them had missteps?
I think that Biden was a lot stronger this debate around. Again, it was everybody hop on Biden. I think people hopped on Harris a little bit more, but it definitely continues to be the anti-Biden debate the second night. But he was able to really hold his ground, and I think his team also really helped him do a lot of research on the other candidates to be able to respond back to any attack. So he was on much more solid footing. I think he was able to gain a little bit more momentum because of that. And I think Harris got a little bit more heat this time around. And I think she was prepared for it, but not as prepared as she could have been.
See, I see him as having been stammering a little bit and, trying to figure out what he's going to say, trying to defend himself on some fronts while the whole thing with Obama, he was saying this is what Obamacare was this. He was blaming certain things on the ACA on Trump, but actually the ACA was not a complete situation in and of itself. And then we turn around and have a situation where he was trying to link himself to Obama. And I think it was pointed out to him at one point by Cory Booker, as a matter of fact, that you can't have it both ways. You're trying, you're coming down on Obama, his policies, and then trying to say you're attached to him. Do you think that worked against him?
I think that does work against him because many people want to see him at least own his mistakes, and he is known for doing that in the past, for owning his mistakes and moving forward. But I think he also needs to be able to not only own those mistakes, but talk about how he's going to fix that if he becomes president. And that's what people want. I think people generally like him and think he can take on Trump. But this sort of continuing to have it both ways, especially with Obama's immigration policy, with progressives, and many things in his past, and him sort of trying to have it both ways is what is kind of getting the progressives and more far left people to continue throwing heat at him, because he's not actually owning it and apologizing for it and showing how he can actually fix whatever things he's done wrong in their eyes.
You can watch the rest of that debate analysis on our website. That's 8newsnow.com. Patrick?
All right, Steve, thank you very much. Migrant children separation, it was once again taking center stage this week.
The culture of cruelty that this administration continues to pursue in regards to migrant children is absolutely wrong.
The arguments over whether the Trump administration is violating court orders on separations is coming up on Politics Now.
Oh my God, no, 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 no. I'm crying, stop.
The next American Chinese original is here. New Sichuan hot chicken for a heartbreaking limited time only at Panda Express.
Have a car? A title? You could get up to $10,000 with Title Max. Go to TitleMax.com and enter your car year, make, and model. See how much you could get. Check out TitleMax.com for the most cash you need. Check out TitleMax.com and shop us for rates. Check out TitleMax.com. All credit types accepted. Find out why so many people say,
I got my title back with Title Max.
I got my title back with Title Max.
Get your title back with Title Max.
The Raiders are coming, and 8 News Now is home for the most games in the Valley. 11 games, kicking off September 15th. The countdown is on until the Silver and Black take over Las Vegas. Follow the journey on 8 News Now.
Summer is almost over, so get ready to go back to school with 8 News Now.
From keeping your children safe to saving you money. The kids might not be ready to go back, but you will be.
The 8 News Now Back to School Guide, Monday starting at 4 a.m.
Yep. Look, it's floating. The car's floating.
You're watching Politics Now.
The Trump administration says migrant families' separation stopped, but new court filings show nearly 1,000 children have been separated in the past year.
Washington correspondent Alexander Limon has details and reaction from lawmakers on Capitol Hill.
The Trump administration is ignoring a court order.
New court documents filed by the ACLU showed the Trump administration separated more than 900 migrant children from their families, despite a federal court order to stop the family separations. The ACLU says 20% of the children are under age 5. 2 weeks ago, Acting Homeland Security Secretary Kevin McAleenan assured lawmakers DHS was obeying the court order.
Separations of parents and guardians and the children they cross with are rare.
Oregon Senator Ron Wyden visited the border last week.
What I saw over the last few days does not indicate to me that the separation of these families is rare.
The ACLU is asking a federal judge to once again step in and make it clear when migrant children can be taken from their parents. DHS says children are only taken from their parents if the parents are criminals or endangering the children. But the ACLU says its documents show some parents had their children taken over traffic violations or misdemeanor property damage. Nevada Senator Jackie Rosen.
The culture of cruelty that this administration continues to pursue in regards to migrant children is absolutely wrong.
Rosen says she'll continue to block confirmation of 2 DHS nominees until conditions at the border improve. In Washington, Alexandra Limon.
And Nevada's other senator, Catherine Cortez Masto, introduced a bill to help service women navigate and learn about the VA services that are available to them.
Part of what I realize is it's the education. We want to make sure they get educated before they transition out of the military, that they know the benefits that are available and can access them, and that they're entitled to them, quite frankly.
Well, only 31% of Nevada's women veterans receive services or benefits from the VA after serving. This new legislation would direct all military branches to encourage service women to participate in the Women's Health Transition Training Program. The program had its first Nevada kickoff this week via a virtual training session.
And what to watch this week? The start of school is just a week away. On Monday, we will have your back-to-school guide with stories in every newscast starting at 4 o'clock.
I'll be talking about some of the school funding issues the district faces, and the I-Team's Vanessa Murphy has stories dealing with issues like bullying and gangs in school. We'll also be talking about filling all of those open teacher positions. So that back-to-school guide, it's all Monday right here on 8 News Now. So that's good. A lot of good stuff in there and a lot of stories, and of course the funding story is one we've told many times, but there's so much to it. It's not like it's a simple issue.
Time flies. It's hard to believe it's back to school already.
I know, 1 week away.
Absolutely. Well, that's our show. Thanks for watching Politics Now. You can email me at sebelius@8newsnow.com.
My email is pwalker@lasvegasnow.com. Stay up to date online and watch us every Saturday. The news at 5 is next.